There's two kinds of bubbles, small bubbles and big bubbles. The small ones always apply their effects, whereas the big bubbles need to be equipped over here to each individual character. You can't have the same bubble on the same character, but you can have multiple characters with the same bubble. So bubbles take materials and liquid to upgrade, and each time you upgrade it, it's going to take more and more of each of them really, but especially materials. How you get new bubbles is with the cauldrons. There's 4 cauldrons, and you click on them and you can assign players. So you need points to unlock new bubbles. You can see the points here. This is how many points I have, 151,000, and this is how many points I need to brew down here. So by assigning players to the cauldron, that's going to give that player XP, and it's also going to generate points for this cauldron that I can use to brew. Now you can see how many times I can brew right here with this number here. So I can brew this 3 times. So, and you can see my chance of unlocking a new bubble here is only 20%. Now, in addition to going for a new bubble, you can also choose to boost this cauldron. So this will use your points just the same way, and it's going to instead boost the cauldron permanently. So the speed will increase the brew rate of the cauldron, so you'll get more points. Luck, that's going to make your chance of getting a new bubble higher. And cost is going to reduce the upgrade cost of the bubble. So don't be confused and thinking that this is going to reduce the cost of brewing, because what it's actually saying, it's going to reduce the cost when you're upgrading the bubbles here. Now 2 times extra, this will give you a chance to get 2 levels instead of 1 when you're upgrading these things right here. So now, which should you prioritize? I like to prioritize the 2 times extra because it helps you level up all these other things too. So I like to get this at 90%. It's not even that hard to get to 90%. You can see this is only level 46, and I almost have 100% chance of getting 2 levels when I'm upgrading these other attributes. So this is really, really useful because you're just getting a free upgrade. So I would go upgrade this one first, and then from there, speed is really nice, and the other ones are also really useful too. So it kind of just is personal preference at that point. So now you know how to assign your players. You can just take players off right here. You can assign them just by clicking here. So that's how that works. Now moving on to liquid. So you're going to need liquid here. You can see, but where do you get liquid? So you get liquid from the liquid tab here. And this is the amount of liquid I have, and this is how much I'm getting an hour. You're going to start with 2 kinds of liquid. Water droplets and liquid nitrogen, and you'll unlock a 3rd one later. So here's where you're going to generate all your liquid, and the cauldrons work fairly similar to the other cauldrons, except there's no bubble or brewing chance. This is just generating liquid basically. So here you can see how much liquid you're generating an hour. Here you can see how much you have and your capacity, and here you can see which players you have assigned to the cauldron. So the more players you have assigned to the cauldron, the faster you'll generate the liquid. So that's how it works. If you don't have anybody assigned, it'll still generate some, it just won't be as much. And another thing to keep in mind, players that are assigned to a liquid cauldron over a cauldron right here will get double XP. So if you want somebody to level up really fast, then you should assign them to a liquid cauldron. For upgrading bubbles, you're primarily going to need water droplets, but you may also find that you need the liquid nitrogen for some of them. And then you'll need the seawater for other things too. But for the bubbles, you're mainly going to want to focus on the water droplets. So Another thing to notice down here is this capacity and rate. So you can decant right here with this button, and this is going to use up your liquid for this cauldron to permanently increase this cauldron. So it's going to either, you can increase the capacity or the rate at which the liquid generates for this cauldron. So this is really useful. It's going to initially use your liquid, but in the long term it's going to make it faster and have more capacity. So this is really important to do as well. There's also a shop right here that you can spend your liquid on. This is mostly personal preference, but I would advise getting the distilled water, getting multiple of these each day, because you're going to need these for quite a few recipes. And the price on almost all of this stuff will reset each day, but it will increase each time you buy it. The only exception is the talent points. This will just always increase, and this will never reset. So yeah, I would get a few waters each day, and aside from that, there's a talent book that's quite nice. And then if you have the second page of the shop unlocked, this is where you can spend like the third liquid at. So the second shop page here is kind of similar. You got your talent points here, but these are for the third tab instead. And you also have a higher quality water here that you're going to need for different recipes as well. So I would buy this every day as well. You also have obels here. These are quite useful if you have some extra liquid. And these are higher quality than the obels in the first page. And keep in mind that the obels in this page use up your water droplets. So that's just another reason I don't like to buy the obels in the first page, because you need your water droplets to upgrade your bubbles. So I would just buy these obels instead. These are better and they don't use up your water droplets. And then there's also a bargain tag here, which will reduce the upgrade cost of a bubble. So it starts out at 25% if you buy it once, and after you buy it, when you go to upgrade a bubble here, it's going to be cheaper on the resources that it'll cost. So you can buy as many of these as you want, but there's some diminishing returns on it. So if you buy like 3 of them, you're not going to have 75% off. And if you buy 4, you're not going to have just 100% off. There's diminishing returns with it. But it can be useful to buy a couple at a time. And if it starts to become too expensive, you can just wait until they reset, and the price will reset on the bargain tag. So that covers the liquids pretty much. You can see over here, this is the amount of liquid everybody's generating for me. So he's in the third liquid here, and he's giving me 18% more liquid an hour. And then this person I actually took off, so you could see the exclamation point here telling me that they're not assigned to anything, so I'll just put them right here. And then you can see their alchemy level here. The higher level their alchemy, the more liquid they'll generate, and the more points they'll generate in the cauldrons here. So yeah, then you can see how much points they're generating here compared to the liquid. They're different kinds of. They're displayed in different ways. The liquid is displayed in percent, and the cauldron are displayed in points. Now, moving on to vials. Vials are kind of similar to bubbles in that they take materials and liquid to upgrade. However, the big difference is that vials have a maximum level of 13, whereas bubbles don't have any maximum level. And the vials will quickly ramp up in their cost much more noticeably than the bubbles. Whereas the bubbles are more gradual. You can see this is at only level 5 and it requires 50,000 copper bars. Seeing as the maximum level is 13 for the vials, it makes sense. Now, as you upgrade the vials, the cost will increase and the vials will change colors. So you can scroll across your vials here just to see them all, and you can see I'm missing quite a bit because I'm not at the end game yet. I'm not in World 5, so I still have a lot to unlock myself. But how you unlock vials is you're just going to take an item and you're just going to drop it in front of the cauldron. But it can't just be any item, it needs to be a particular kind of item. But so if you're not sure which kind of item you can use, you can look right here, it'll tell you. So in this case it wants me to drop explosive powder here, but the thing to note about this is you don't have to do this in order. So whatever it says here, I don't just have to go by this. I can just drop, for example, I know this snowball is a vial, and so I want to get the snowball vial. I can drop it here. I don't have to just go to the next one that is shown here. Now the reason I can't do it is because I've already used all my attempts for the day. You only get a certain amount of attempts here. This can be increased in the pay to win tab, which I'll be talking about next. So as you unlock new vials by dropping on the ground, like I said, it's not 100% guaranteed to get the new vial. It's a chance to get it. If you don't unlock it and use all your attempts for the day, you're gonna have to wait until the next day to try again. Okay, so now moving on to the pay to win tab. This is where you can upgrade various different things like your cauldrons with money. So here you can see I can upgrade my cauldron. I can upgrade the speed so I generate more points per hour. I can increase the chance of getting a new bubble, or I can lower the requirements to boost the bubble. So you can see it's the 42,000 here. It would cost me to boost this one, and 16,000 for this, so it would reduce this cost. I would say speed is the biggest priority, but I would go ahead and upgrade all of them fairly equally if you can, just because of how much the price is going to increase. It just makes more sense to distribute that money over all three of these because they're all pretty useful. So now moving on to liquid upgrades. Fairly straightforward. You can upgrade your liquid regen speed and you can upgrade your liquid capacity. So something to keep in mind here is you need to know how long are you playing. Are you active every day, or do you only check once a week? Because if you're active every day, you probably are going to prefer the regen speed. But if you're only checking once a week or longer, you're going to want to prioritize the capacity, so it's not just at full capacity. So yeah, you can upgrade your 3 different cauldrons here, all the same way, and then you can upgrade your vials here too. So attempts, this is going to give you more daily attempts. I get a new vial every day, so this is quite useful. RNG, I'm not exactly sure what this does, but I presume that it gives you a better chance of unlocking a vial. So I would just go ahead and upgrade it. And then down here, you can upgrade boost for all your players. So you can increase the alchemy speed of all your players, and you can increase the amount of XP all your players get. Alchemy XP to be specific. So these are very useful, but you can't just upgrade them as much as you want, because as it says here, the maximum level is based on your highest level alchemy character. So for me, my highest level alchemy character is 43, so I can only upgrade these to 43 right now. But as your alchemy level increases, you'll be able to upgrade this more. There's also something called Sigil here, which I don't even have unlocked yet, but you get this in World 4 apparently. So that's something that I need to learn about as well, but I'm just covering the rest of the alchemy stuff here, so I won't be covering that, obviously. Something else to keep in mind is that Shaman specializes in alchemy. If we take a look in the talent tree here, this one gives seconds of alchemy progress for every kill you get within a certain amount of time. This one gives brew speed just for this character. This one gives alchemy XP for this character and gives a big chance of getting a new bubble when you brew on this character. And the last one gives all characters in the same cauldron as this one more alchemy XP. So this one you can use, like if you're fighting a bunch of enemies like in the Coliseum or something, you can use this and you'll get a ton of alchemy progress. This one just straight up increases your brew speed for this character, and this one gives you a big chance of getting a new bubble when you're brewing on this player. So that means you always want to brew, you always want to try and unlock your new bubbles on a shaman, so you have the highest chance. And the last one, all characters in this same cauldron as this one get 100% more XP. So what that means is you want to have as many characters as possible in the cauldron of your shaman, so they all get extra XP. So that's pretty much everything. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.